Okay, we've got a lot to talk about with UFOs today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, so Trump has ordered the release, the declassification of all the JFK files, along with the RFK files and the MLK files. I think we're supposed to get those released within 45 days. I think that's the deal. I highly doubt that it's going to be the full Monty of everything. I mean, there's some funky stuff that happened at some high levels, seemingly, with JFK, and I highly doubt that's going to come out. So, again, I've talked about that before. Others have as well. But what does that mean for the release of the UFO files? If Trump carried through on his promise to release the JFK files almost immediately after coming into the office, as he said he would, does that mean something favorable about the UFO stuff? Is he going to release it? Well, Chuck Schumer is calling for it. He says, now do UFOs. Hell yeah, Chuck. Now do UFOs. It's time. And also, of course, the mystery drones. Trump told Susie, his chief of staff, to get to the bottom of the mystery drones, and hopefully she has or is getting to the bottom of it now, and a report will be released as Trump promised. He said a day or so after his inauguration. Well, it's time. So let's pony up with the mystery drone and UFO disclosure. But speaking of disclosure, we've got Jake Barber to talk about, because in the full interview, there is just such a wealth of information to go over. First of all, he did work with Stephen Greer. A lot of people were doubting that, and I was saying that no, that was Stephen Greer's information. That was the big shoe, the next shoe that was going to drop, that both Ross and Stephen Greer and others were talking about, was Jake Barber and his people. And so he was working with Greer. He was, he's also Michael Herrera's insider, as Jake himself admits. He approached Michael Herrera, he is, as Joey's Not My Name says, Michael Herrera's insider. And I'm fascinating stuff. Hopefully I can get Mike or even Jake on the program to talk more about that. I have so many unanswered questions about the psychic aspects of it, the shoot downs. I wanted more information about what the hell they were getting in those drops, in those data drops. That may have had warring factions of the control group or groups vying over that information. I need more information about all of that. But he also says so many things. So let's get into it. First of all, he's not worried for his safety.
Do you worry for your safety, for your family's safety?
No, I don't. I think I'm being protected, believe it or not, by the NHI. And also, I don't put up with harassment. I don't believe in the boogeyman.
Doesn't believe in the boogeyman, but he is protected by the opposite of the boogeyman, potentially. So he believes the NHI in general, and in specific, the female entity that he was interacting with. He says he has seen demonstrations of exotic technology, and that it's no longer simply in the hands of the U.S. government.
The implications of what you're saying also are that potentially there is some kind of capacity to draw incredible amounts of energy from
I've seen it.
The quantum vacuum.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
I've seen it.
There's also, obviously, the capacity to use propulsion systems that are far beyond what we're describing.
Yeah, that seems to be the case as well.
Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity.
They know about it. Anti-gravity, zero-point energy. Those secrets are being suppressed from our knowledge.
I've seen demonstrations recently that, again, proves that the government doesn't have a monopoly on this.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting that, even though he did these crash retrievals years ago, he is still in the loop. He is still going to demonstrations, presumably with aerospace companies like Lockheed and Boeing, whoever has been employing him. has this technology and he has seen it firsthand. Yeah, they've got 0 point energy. Sounds like they've got anti-grav, and they probably have for a long time. However, he doesn't necessarily recommend full disclosure. He has some faith in the system, seemingly, although it's definitely been shaken. But he has some really interesting things to say about that and what disclosure means for spirituality, which is something that I've talked about before numerous times on the channel, that UFO disclosure also means spiritual disclosure.
Like, we as a public do not want catastrophic disclosure. What we need, again, there's a few bad apples. We need to maintain our institutions. We don't get rid of them. We need to find a way to get the right people promoted to positions of power and trust. And we already have that. It's called the Gang of Eight in Congress. They're a big part of that. Right now, it's not functioning that way. But we're not going to change. We can't change the structure. We need to get the right people into power, into positions, start looking into it. And again, you don't need to rely on the government. It's already there. Like, what we need to know is this. We need to know that we're not alone. We need to know that there's a profound spiritual component to our existence. And that's just for the sake of our own fellowship.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what he thinks we should know, is that we are not alone and that we have a soul and we are connected to something greater. And I think that's beautiful and lovely. I do, however, disagree with him. His faith in the process and in the system has been shaken. And he's, a part of it to a certain extent, and he's lived his life in that system, and so it's understandable that he has a little bit more faith in it and adheres to it a little bit more. I don't, and I don't think that that's the only thing the public deserves to know. I think we deserve to know everything. But what's more, because I don't have any faith in the control group as honest actors that are doing good for everybody, we need oversight of those guys. They're shooting down UFOs. They are participating in abductions. We don't know all the extent of what they've been doing. There is some faction down in Peru that has been peeling people's faces off. Assuming that's not NHI, these groups need oversight. So that's not going to be, just acknowledging they exist and trusting in the Gang of Eight or whatever systems that are in place to make sure they're doing a good job and they're being above board and, good actors. They're not. So, we can't trust that they are going to be. So we clearly need a lot more than we have right now. And so that's where I'm at with that. But I appreciate his perspective on that. But I definitely strongly disagree and think that, we need to rip we need to rip that can of worms open, and we need full oversight of these black programs. But his spiritual message is very powerful and, in my experience, very true. And you have to go into it with love and light. And if you do, you can have amazing experiences.
The other implication too, from what your experience shows, is that whatever and wherever the intelligence is that's behind those craft, it seems friendly, benevolent.
Benevolent, yeah.
In fact, loving.
It's, if you want to connect with it, if you want to have a relationship, and if you want to see stuff flying in the sky, you need to be channeling a loving energy.
Yeah, that's been very true in my experience. Of course, some people do have negative experiences, and he talks about how these psionic assets would interact with angelic presences or, positive entities, as well as negative entities and more demonic presences and energies. So, there is a light side and a dark side of this, but that is why it's so important to go into these contact experiences with love and light. And you may find that you get what you look for. The phenomenon will often meet you halfway. He says at one point he went to the Senate Intelligence Committee for help, but found instead that they had their own problems and that they were looking to him for help.
Which was extremely disappointing, to say the least. But they were scared. They were scared, and they were running into their own problems of being in fear of, they were being harassed.
People in the Senate were being harassed, which shouldn't come as much of a surprise that the UFO control group can intimidate people in Congress. You know, we've seen this before, at least, that they can influence people in Congress, like with Harry Reid, not allowing him the access that he wanted. They can also intimidate people in the Pentagon, like with Tom Wilson. You know, high level guy, couldn't get access to the control group, and they even threatened his career. Then we've heard from the recent UAP hearing with Lou Elizondo that, you know, they weren't able to get the witnesses and the direct participants of these programs that they wanted to because there was interference. And that was in the House. He's talking about the Senate. So there's interference in the Senate. There's interference in the House. And this seems to confirm that. Not a huge surprise. I'm hoping things are a little better in the House now that Mike Turner's gone, but I don't have any illusions that the interference of the control group is all gone. I'm sure it remains, and it will find a different outlet or outlets. But there you go. I thought that was really interesting and a little disconcerting, but not a surprise. The UFO control group has tentacles. It has tentacles everywhere. Meanwhile, another UFO, another egg UFO, presumably the Antarctica Egg UFO, has dropped on 4chan another image of this thing, or one like it, that's being transported by military type trucks. So is this legit or not? Well, ProPixel Video Analysis and Research did an analysis of it, but he didn't find anything conclusive. There wasn't enough detail in the picture or things that he could really pick at to identify whether it was legit or not legit. So he says he's just putting this image to the side for the moment for future consideration. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention that there is another image of this egg UFO, the one from Antarctica that was being transported by that helicopter supposedly, or a similar object that has come online, presumably from the same source. But you never know. Benny says, always be careful with this stuff and definitely use your own discernment. Here's some more images. You can see, you know, these vehicles in the snow, and there's the juicy egg, big fat egg, sitting in the military truck. Another one and another one. But again, nothing apparently conclusive that ProPixels could find in any of these images. He does, however, say at least we can see the vehicle it's in exists in real life, and he points to this vehicle right here as the vehicle in question. That seems to be what the egg is sitting on. So yeah, not completely cooked up. At least that vehicle does exist. Meanwhile, in the skies over Ohio, a fleet of possibly tic-tac or even egg-shaped UFOs were seen. Let me see if I can play the audio.
Literally through my iPhone. I'm moving the camera.
Anything like this.
These objects are, they look to be round shaped, and it's really weird. It's like a fleet. They're not weather balloons, they're not planes. Definitely not helicopters or drones.
It's around 5 p.m.
Holy. Did you see this? Look at the speed that thing did.
We're disappearing.
Yeah, really interesting. So they're moving around, they're zipping around, they're vanishing. I don't know why he's more interested in his fire pit than the UFOs, but yeah, look at that. Look at that. Let's see that again. I mean, that's a great shot, potentially, of real UFOs zipping around. And then they all just kind of vanish, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, let me know if you think that's a great, legit sighting or not. I mean, it's definitely cool looking. But is it legit? Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. Don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a t-shirt in the merch store, becoming a channel member. Channel members often get to see videos hours before everybody else. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.